Okay, we're back for part 2 here. I had to do a meridian flip, so we're on the east side of the meridian now, or the German equatorial mode. This is M41. I think it's called a little beehive cluster. And now let me see how stellarium. So this is a separate laptop that's sitting with the telescope, and I'm talking to it with a remote desktop. And sometimes it's not real responsive when you got a bunch of programs running. Let's see how it handles stellarium so you can see where we're going next. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of sluggish here. Let's go to, let me fix this here, put some different names in. Come on. Let's go to, so I mean it's kind of sluggish. DSO objects. And let's use designations for screen labels. Click on that, tell it okay. Wow, this is really sluggish. So that was M41 we were looking at. Let's go up to M50 here, which tells me it's another open cluster. Real exciting. I got to do a, what do I do here? This. And we're going to make that a window. Whoop, make that a window. Get it out of the way. Come back to, we're running Maxim DL software here, both to image and to control the telescope and to focus and do all kinds of stuff. So, hold on, M50. So we'll come up here, object ID, backspace M50, tell it to search, and it only finds one object, so we're going to go to that. See how it gets grayed out there? Once it's on the object, that'll come back into focus. Again, if you're on YouTube, look at in the bottom of the window there, the little thing looks like a white gear, and that's settings. And go to quality, and you want to be at least 1440, okay, for these images to look reasonably sharp. Okay, it says we're there. Let's take a 10-second image here. The monochrome camera, about a 1-degree field of view, 10-inch f4 Schmidt-Newtonian. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Like I said, it's just this boring open cluster. Let's put some crosshairs up there. See how well we did. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Let's go now back to stellarium. So we're M50. Let's go over. We got 46 and 47 over here, both open clusters again. So we're going to go back to Maxim DL, M46. We'll search, see what it finds. Only finds one. Should be writing these down. 46, M50, M46. And as soon as we're there, we'll try another image. Here we go, another 10-second exposure. It's a little early for a Messier Marathon, but the forecast looked really bad. Yeah, this is a pretty cool one here. Let me get rid of the crosshairs. It actually has a planetary nebula in it. See it right here. So here's the open cluster, and here's this planetary nebula. Let me show you something here. We're going to plate solve this, okay? So we're going to go out and find the star catalogs, and we're going to tell the telescope exactly where it's pointing. I mean, it thinks it's pointing at those coordinates now, but we're going to tell it exactly where it is. So we're going to use this sync command, and it says here, sync telescope on solved position. We're going to solve, not on the catalog, but on the position that we just solved with the plate solving software, okay? And now we're going to tell it go to again, okay? And we're going to try to get this open cluster centered here. So let's take another exposure. Let's put those crosshairs back up so we can see how it changed. So see right now, this planetary nebula is in the center, which is fine. But there we go. So see now. Now let me show you something here. we're going to analyze it one more time. Okay, should go pretty quick. Close, sync, and then I'm going to go to the telescope tab here and see where it says center on image here. I'm going to click calibrate, and I'm going to tell it to use pinpoint this plate solving software. Now what I can do is I can come out here, right click on that planetary and say point telescope here, and the telescope will slew again, and as soon as it's done, we'll take another picture, and hopefully, the idea is anyhow, that planetary will be right in the center of the image. And then sometimes what you want to do, so say I've got in the same frame a couple galaxies, I know, there you go, so it's right in the center there. And I want to get them both in the frame. So what you can do then is, I'll show you here, we're going to solve this one more time. I don't think I have to, but I'm going to close, sync, and we're going to go out here to zoom, and we're going to tell it to snap to the telescope, okay? So here is this big circle. Let's zoom out a little bit here. What do I want? Zoom to, let's go to 2 degrees. So you can see here, right now it's pointing at this. Actually, let's go to 1 degree. I want to try something here. See if we can do this. All right, let's move this over. Here's M46. This is this dotted circle here. That's the open cluster. And over here is M47. Now, this says it's a 1 degree field of view too. So what I want to do is I want to try to get both of these in the same frame. Now, this is really pushing it. So I'm going to put the mouse right in the center here, okay, and tell it to slew to mouse position. And then we'll see if we can get both of these open clusters in the same frame. And I'm going to leave this here because I want to show you something else. So let's do our exposure here. This comes in, did we get them? Well, there's the one there and one over here. But watch this. We'll, again, plate solve, close, and telescope, sync. Now let's go back to zoom and see what it did here? It overlaid the image. See the rectangle here? So these unfortunately are just a little bit farther apart than the frame is. But sometimes we got galaxies, cluster galaxies, and you want to try to get as many of them as you can. You can use this technique to put the center of the frame based on the image you've taken. All right, let's make this window a little smaller here. We don't need that. And just, let's see if we can, I've got a webcam out there looking at the telescope. I don't know how well. Yeah, it's too dark. I could turn some lights on, but we won't do that. So let's go back to catalog here. Back to, where were we going to go next? M46, 47. Well, we did that. That was kind of in that frame there. Let's go over to 48 here. Okay. And so then maybe we can move to something a little more interesting. So M48, search, go to, once we've done these plate solve and sync the telescope, usually if you're within about 30 degrees, the go-tos work pretty well. Now, I just dragged my telescope out in the driveway tonight and did a pretty good polar align. But the better the polar you can align it, the much better your go-tos are going to be. Typically every single one of them in the field of view. Yeah, this is a pretty open cluster here. Not very exciting, is it? Let's see what else is out in the east here. I should have made a list of this. I never do. I went up to M50, M93, that's another open cluster. See, these are all open clusters here. That's what he liked looking at. Well, we'll try the butterfly cluster. I don't know why. Let's go back to our imaging platform. Now, hold on a second here. Where were we? 48. Let's move over here. Really sluggish. Okay. Yeah, M48. This is typically, you maybe take a little break and wait for some of these other objects to come up, but let's go to M48 here. Yeah, there we go. Search. I think we already did that, didn't we? Never mind. Got to write this down. Let's go over to how low this is in the sky. Let me get some of these galaxies here. Let's see. How low is that in the sky? 27 degrees. That's a little low yet for me. It's going to be a terrible image. So let's M67. It's open star cluster. Let's try that. Yeah, the galaxies won't be, we got about another hour before I can get to those. So maybe we'll take a break here. All right, let's start that up. I'm not auto guiding here. If I was going to go more than a minute, I would. But if it's just open star clusters, you're going to see a few more stars. Okay, see it's a little off here. Let's see if we can use that center command, point telescope here. Remember that? Get that centered on the screen here. If I didn't goof something up in between. Let's see what that happens here. Here we go again. Yeah, it did pretty good there. Move that right back where we want it. Plate solving is just, I can't tell you how much time it saves. 10 years ago, you could have spent an hour trying to get this image into the telescope. It's just amazing. I think I'm going to take a little break here, maybe come back at 10 o'clock or something. These will be archived on YouTube, though, so you don't have to stay up. You can go take a look at them later. If there's not a Messier 3, the sky conditions got bad, and I decided to call it a night.